want to do now is this. I am going to fill up this page. We're going to do this for the next 5 minutes. I'm having a sense that the camera, okay, hopefully it's staying in focus. What am I going to do? I want to fill up this entire page with circles. Now, they could be the bigger the circle, well, the faster you're going to fill up that page. So you want to have a couple of variations in size, but what I want you to do first is this. I want you to ghost it. What does that mean? As I do my motion, I can visualize it. So can you see what if I were to touch the pencil to the paper, could you see what I would draw? That doesn't look like a circle. That looks like a circle. Now, is that the size of the circle I want to draw, or is that the size of the circle I want to draw? Now, you see artists doing this a lot. They'll move their, and then boom, they touch a line. So this is what I want you guys to do. I want you to begin to really get a feel for your range of motion. And as I visualize it, then I'm going to touch down and I'm going to, little by little, add. Again, here I can go in both directions. Notice I'm going clockwise and counterclockwise. And what I'm doing is laying down a very light first line that is then guiding me, letting me see it more and more until I can slow down a little bit and now really refine. Notice how I'm doing segments of it as I see it better and better, but I'm not committing. So in a way, it's kind of the way to sketch. Now, some of my lines might be, you might consider, oh, they look too fluffy. Yeah, I'm doing a little bit of compacting of the line as well. But this is actually something that makes me happy because it's kind of what I was visualizing. It is the proper shape, and it is the exact size that I wanted. So I'm going to be doing this all over the page, and I'm going to do variations, ghosting it, touching it down. Again, this is going to be about you finding your pace. And see how far you need to take the darkness of that line. Now, if you were to ghost this and just leave it at that, and what I mean by that is notice that it's really light. Are you happy with it? If you are, then yeah, sure, go ahead. I would want you to consider all of the things, range of motion, visualizing, but also grip and pressure. Yeah, they don't all have to be the same size. They don't all have to be the same value, meaning some could be lighter. Guess what? I might want to switch to a 6B. So play with different pencils as well. So this is a 6B. This is really going to just pop up very quick, and I won't need to add too much pressure because it shows up right away. And it's already even darker than the few that I did before, where I really had to put much more pressure, meaning my posture, my grip, other things might have shifted a little. So maybe I want to use one of these. Now notice that I'm going really dark with this one, where I might be more comfortable sketching with a 6B. So this is how you're going to discover your new best friend. Like, oh, this is my pen. What's your favorite pencil? You're going to find out. If you do exercises like this, you'll begin to, ooh, I love the way the HB feels. No, I'm a 2B person. And there's tons of 4B, 6B artists. So if you're more of a 2H, 4H person, then you're more likely like an architect. They like those nice, compact, clean, light lines. So all of these things, I'm going to do another 6B, a little bit larger, ghosting it, sketching it in. So one of the reference here is this. I see it in my mind, and then I lay down sort of a foundational structure. As I begin to see a few lines, I see the shape where it is correct and where it needs refinement. Where it needs refinement, I apply all my skill to then begin to confirm. And by confirm, I mean commit a little more to the line. So what we're doing here is sketch, 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 draw, sketch, 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 draw, sketch, 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 draw, 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 sketch, sketch, draw. It's a kind of back and forward dance where in the end it's all sketching. But if you were to ask someone, can you draw a circle? They would most likely go, here we go. Grab the pencil like this, and I'm going to write you the letter O, basically, because it's not drawing a circle. So it would be committing to a line in one pass. What we want is the feeling of visualizing, sketching it in, seeing, nope, that doesn't look like what I want. So I could still fix what I need by maybe coming inside a little more, making it a little bit smaller, or rounding one of these sides. And little by little, we're kind of sculpting it. So you should feel like a sculptor, kind of adding, 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 or maybe even just taking out areas of it and sketching it in. There we go. Let's show you I'm going to go to a 6H. See if you guys could see the difference. I'm going to put it right here next to the 6B. So I'm going to ghost it. And there is a reason why we would use a 6H. With portraits especially, the lighter values, the hardness of the line. With an H, you definitely scratch because H, hard. 6H, that's very hard. You are going to scratch into that tooth very quickly. But the great thing is, it's so hard, it's light because as you lay down graphite, it doesn't, as it hurts, or not hurts, but touches the tooth of the paper, it doesn't leave as much graphite, but it does. You can actually hear it scratching. And if you haven't tested out, do a 6H or 4H, 2H, and then compare the sound to a 6B. It's almost like using your fingernail and then drawing with butter. That's what it sounds like. All right, so a couple more, a little bit bigger. And here, again, testing your range of motion until you, oh my goodness, can just come up with the most perfect circles ever. There we go. I'm going to do a couple small ones here because sometimes the variation in size forces you to realize what is your tendency to control the tip of that pencil. A lot looser, freer means a little more room for error. As we get tighter and closer, you want to be more perfect. So you judge it a little harder. Let's go to I have a 8B. Do I have a 9B? I think I have a 9B. Let's see. All right, so I'm going to go with an 8B. I'm going to place it over here. Ghosting it as we now lay down. Notice that as soon as I touch it to the paper, it's like done. So how far could this, and notice how I'm switching my under and overhand grip in order to get the range of motion the accuracy of the line that I need to find. Shifting a little bit, the pressure. And it is a different look, but I like it. All right. Let's do a couple more. And the idea is for you to just, once again, play with, discover, have all these little wow moments of, oh, look at that. I never felt that before. Can I do it again? How did I do that? Make sure you take mental notes so you could do it again and again. And eventually, that is what practice does. Practice, practice, practice. Only you will know when you are satisfied. People will tell you, oh my God, that's so wonderful, amazing, so beautiful. And you'll be like, nah, I don't like the way this here and there. And that's how we usually do things. We are the hardest art critics, um, but not to other people, to our own work that we need to be. That's my one tip. Be kind, be very, very kind to your art practice, to yourself. Give yourself that, encouragement of, oh, yeah, okay, it's going to take a little more practice. Yes, I could do a little bit better, but it's good. And why is it good? Because you're doing it. The fact that you're just trying and doing it, it's the most amazing thing. If you didn't, then, kind of sad. Um, but if you're doing it and you're judging it too hard, I think it's more negative than, again, not judging it at all. And it is good to judge because you want to continue getting intellectually a little bit, okay, I could see where I could fix this and that. But overall, I see a path forward. And that's the good thing. Okay, switch over to another page. And again, these exercises are for you to revisit with the amount of time that you need because some of these could take you an entire hour, 2 hours of just practice. If you're working really small to larger and larger, you want to have that in, you don't want to rush yourself through this. So this one, we're going to do, let's see. And we have, um, did I want to bring it in? I'm looking at the time, see if we have enough time to finish the next exercise that I want to do. And I think, yeah. Well, the next one was, and I'm going to do a quick one just so you could see it. We'll just probably do 5 minutes with this one. It's eggs. So from a circular geometric shape, we're going to go to a little more organic shapes. So ghosting an egg, this is an amazing practice because we're all very familiar with eggs. Now we know an egg, it's an oval, but if we really want an ovoid shape, egg shape, we want to make it wider at one of the ends, sharper angle at the opposite. So I could start ghosting a circle. This is one way. And that would be my wider part. I hope you guys could kind of see it. Let me zoom in because I want to keep this light and not confusing to you. So I start with a very light. There we are. These lights are so light, it's coming out of focus. So here we are. We have just a nice 2A. This is a 2B. And I'm ghosting a circle. Now that I have that, this is going to be my wide end of the egg. Now I want to ghost and see if you could see the range of motion. You could actually begin to see it before I draw it. And I just want to make it sharper here. And as I ghost my motion and begin to sketch it in, I begin to see it. Then I complete all the way around. Add a little more pressure. And look at that. Little by little, sketching it in. Again, remember, sketch, sketch, sketch. You're correcting, you're rounding, sharpening, and at the same time, the areas that you're confirmed, you just make darker and darker. So it goes from sketch to drawing. But overall, that's what we want. This feeling of sketching, sketching, sketching all the way throughout. There we have it. Let me zoom out just a little bit. Now that's placing a circle and then sharpening one of the edges here. I'm going to do a next one without the circle. I'm going straight into the oval feel, and I'm going to round one edge, sharpen the other. So seeing the egg, and this one's going to be a little bit at an angle. And I'm noticing how I'm shifting direction, but it's completely ghosted. Now this one might be a little bit, some of these eggs want to be a little bit rounder or a little bit flatter on the sides. So it's coming up with all these, let's say, chicken eggs, ostrich eggs, reptile eggs, or a new type of egg that you just made up that we could still call an egg. And there you have it. So going right into it with the clockwise, counterclockwise ghosting can also get you there really quick. And again, the idea here is to play with all different kinds of sizes. Let me do one more. I'm going to do one kind of laying flat. I'm going to do this one a little bit flatter, but it is wider at one end. And you want to keep that range of motion as you, at the same time, control your pressure, sketch, sketch, sketch. As we continue, we then confirm and draw without slowing down. If you slow down too much, you're drawing, 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 but you're losing a little bit of that line quality, that looseness of the graphite. The idea is to gain control so you could do this all the way through. So that's a type of egg, egg shape. People would, if you asked, what is this? It kind of looks like a, I think egg would be in one of the answers here and there. Um, and also sizes. So the direction, you want to do variations in the angle. I'm going to make this one a little bit rounder. Makes me think of these nice smaller bird, colorful type eggs. And all of a sudden, I'm ready for a second breakfast. There we have it. And again, making sure you keep a little bit of your pace, but the things to always focus on: grip, pressure, range of motion, and pace. Always check, 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 check. Do a couple more, maybe a little bit smaller. Also, the other variables are other pencils. So your range of motion and your pace, the pressure immediately shifts. And the way I attack these lines, the way I solve these problems, I have to sharpen some of the lines. They give me an automatic response, and I'm happy with that. If I weren't, you just do it over. Make it a little bit larger, maybe. Now, there is a type of line that I love, which is, let's see if you guys could see it here. And it's this kind of broken, squiggly line. Some people call it a hairy line. And again, it's your personality, and again, ghosting. See, I got too caught up in the early line, but it looks like it's got that squiggly, gestural is the word, feel to it, which is the actual kind of line that I love because it is, to me, a little more true. It shows a little more of the artist. And if you were to look at masters, I'm talking Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, Rubens, um, Degas, you name it, their lines are going to look more like this. If you look up close, they're very free flowing, very gestural, very just sketch, 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 confirm, sketch. And oh my God, there it is. And we're talking about um, masterpieces, museum priceless masterpieces that are hanging. You could look up close and you will absolutely see that study of sculpting. So I'm showing you different, it's not just one way, it's that new way that you're going to come up with that makes it special. The way that only you could ever come up with, which is the beauty about art. 7 billion different ways. And if I had an egg and I put it right here and I said, everybody, use a 2B pencil, sharpen it with this sharpener on this type of paper, and we all had the exact same pencil, same sharpener, same pencil, same egg, we're looking at it with the same lighting, we would have 10 different eggs or 11 since we're 10 students and the teacher. And that is the beauty of it. And finally, being able to see each other's work. When I see what you did, I learn something new. I hope to. I always see something, oh my God. And all of a sudden, this personal history, this feeling that you bring to it, that only you could bring, comes alive, comes through. And I love that saying where all of us have a novel, we all have a book inside of us, we all have a whole museum inside of us too. And that is absolutely true. The only ones stopping us from showing it to the world is that critic, the editor critic.